name's Kevin Merritt. I am the board president of Hopeline, and we are in the process of documenting Hopeline's legacy. We're making a video series to highlight our past, present, and future as a ministry. So this particular segment today, this conversation focuses on the present, and we are recording this in February of 2021. We have three guests with us today. We have Jessica Fairchild, Linda Cochran, and Adrian Gretto. I'd like to start with Jessica and ask, first of all, Jessica, tell us what your understanding of the mission of Hopeline is, but then share your story about how you got involved with Hopeline.
Sure, Pastor Kevin. The mission of Hopeline is to promote life choices for women who are experiencing unplanned or crisis pregnancies. And we do that by providing Christian-based services to them and meeting them right where they are in the middle of that experience that they're going through. Hopeline has been something really precious to my heart. The mission of ministry is very much in line with what my desires are in helping women who are in these kinds of situations. I was able to join the board for Hopeline in 2019, but my story with Hopeline actually begins several years prior to that. 11 years ago, I was a client of Hopeline when I experienced an unplanned pregnancy myself. I was definitely in a crisis situation where I was not sure which decision I was going to make. And honestly, I wasn't really leaning towards choosing life, but thankfully God had different plans. He brought me to Hopeline, and the services that were provided to me were exactly what I needed. They helped me in many capacities as far as emotional support, resource support, faith support. And they helped me come to the decision that I did want to keep my child. And thank God that he did, because that experience with Hopeline and choosing life was a decision that opened the door, I would say, for the rest of my life. I felt like that led me down the life that God had always planned for me. And if Hopeline wasn't there to intercede in that point, I don't know if that is what would have been the outcome. So Hopeline has been instrumental in my life. And ever since I had that experience as a client there, God had put it on my heart to keep giving back through Hopeline. If I could help other women who are in similar situations, that's what God wanted me to do. That's what my heart wants to do. And I took every opportunity that I could to help Hopeline or be involved with Hopeline after I had had my first child. I was able to volunteer in many different capacities, primarily in the Danbury office, which was such a blessing because that's the office that I was a client at. And I helped any way that they needed help. That eventually led to an opportunity for me to be an employee of Hopeline, where I helped with a few different things. I was a volunteer, I was part-time employee there. And I was able to enjoy that for a couple of years until my family expanded. I had 2 more children, and I was not able to give of myself my time as much in a employee type setting. But thankfully in 2019, I was approached by Linda Cochran and asked if I would like to join the board of Hopeline, which has been such a blessing to my life. I feel like joining the board has helped me see Hopeline in different views and really be instrumental in making some decisions and overseeing the ministry in general, which has been amazing. And I'm so thankful that I am now able to assist Hopeline in that capacity and continue to lead Hopeline and make sure Hopeline stays on that path of our mission of promoting life choices for women who are in these kinds of situations. And I'm just so happy that God has chosen to use me in this way.
Well, Jessica, thank you for sharing that. And I can attest to the fact that you add value in so many ways to the ministry, and your story it just tells the story of Hopeline in so many ways. And you're a blessing, and it's been a joy to serve with you on the board. We also, I did want to ask Linda Cochran, who is our CEO, just a little bit about your perspective on 25 years later, and just what you've seen, how you've seen Hopeline change, and anything that's on your heart.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jess, for sharing. It's so good to see the growth that you've had. It's been a blessing. Yeah, so it started out with me as the only staff, part-time. That was it, and the board. And now we are 5 full-time staff members, 8 part-time. We have 7 board members. We have over 25 volunteers, and we have over 2,000 donors. And, it's changed a lot in 25 years, especially our culture has changed a lot. So we have seen many generations. So when I look back over the 25 years, I do see a whole generation from newborns to 25 just gathered together, like these are who came to life through Hopeline, and people that are in high school or just going to college or just being born because of the choices that were made 9 months ago. And so it's really the people and the clients that I remember the most, going from just a phone service really to medical services where we have ultrasounds and pregnancy tests in all 3 offices, Danbury and Stamford and Bridgeport. It has grown in a way that more people do know about us now. There is, like, people know to go to Hopeline if you have an unplanned pregnancy or you find yourself in a situation like Jess did, where you need support to help carry to term. And yeah, it went by really fast, 25 years. It's like just a tiny little office, 1-room office. I think we had to really just beautiful space in Danbury and Bridgeport and Stamford. The offices are beautiful.
Well, it's amazing to think of how many lives have been saved and touched during that period because of the work of Hopeline. And back in 2016, Linda, you started talking about the idea of retirement, and I know this has been like a very prayerful process for you. And I'm just curious how you kind of got to that decision, and what your thinking is around that.
Yeah, well, back in 2016, I knew that I was going to be hitting that golden age, and I was seeing just the Lord had really put on my heart to raise up the next generation and train them to be our pro-life warriors, and just to be able to pass on the skills. So when I approached the board, they were supportive of this plan, and we made a transition committee and started planning for the future, and especially praying for the next generation of leaders. And we were so blessed when Adrienne joined our staff, and the board and I saw her potential for leadership and her potential for leading the center after I left. And so I approached Adrienne and asked her if she would be interested, and she was. And Adrienne is a leader, and she has such a passionate heart for the Lord and the unborn. And so I couldn't be more thrilled to be able to hand over the reins to her. This June 17th will be my last day at Hopeline, and I'll be passing over all of the leadership to Adrienne.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It has been quite a journey, and I think back to that moment about 5 years ago when Adrienne first came on the radar, and I actually was part of the board at that time. So I remember just being so impressed with her and her energy, her passion, and anyways, I don't want to inflate her ego, heaven forbid. But I just want to say that as someone who's been on the board, I'm just so excited about this transition, about Adrian taking over as our executive director. So Adrian, yeah, go ahead and just, I'm curious to see what your experience, it's been 5 years with the ministry, and just what's your reflection over those years, and what's changed, and how have you changed?
Yeah, well, first I just want to say thank you for all of your kind words. I knew that this was going to be an emotional video to record, but Jess's story is just so, it just moves my heart to tears. And, just knowing what a wonderful leader Linda has been, and role model and mentor is just, I'm so grateful. Jesus is so good to me. So I started at Hopeline in November of 2016. The story goes back though to the spring of 2016 when Linda and Patty Cortuccio, the former executive director, shared at a women's event at my church about Hopeline and the work that and they do. And I leaned over to a friend and I said, oh my goodness, I would love to work there one day. And so I had no idea that one day would be very soon. And I interviewed and was offered the position of center director at our Stanford Center. And so that's how I started at Hopeline. And so through the years, Patty was getting ready to retire as executive director, and both Linda and Patty approached me. And so I took over as ED in November of 2018. And so throughout my time at Hopeline, from 2016 to now, we have seen such growth. Like Linda shared, we have 5 full-time staff. Now, when I started at Hopeline, there was only 1 full-time staff member, and it was Linda, and that was 5 years ago. And so we've seen tremendous growth in that area. And so because of the faithfulness of our donors, and their giving, we've been able to expand our staff positions, which means that we've been able to serve so many more women and men and families as a whole. We've expanded our social media presence. We've expanded our presence online to running ads so that women can find us easier. And we also have expanded our recovery program. Specifically this year, the past 6 months, we've seen a lot of growth, and so that's been wonderful. We added a text line so that women could reach out to us via text. So we've been moving with the times, and so that's really been great. And our Bridgeport Center expanded its space, and our Stanford Center this year will be moving downtown Stanford, which is another exciting move, definitely for growth. So that's been really beautiful to watch these past 5 years.
So when you think ahead, just short term, next few years, what do you see Hopeline? How do you see Hopeline's role expanding or developing in the area?
Yeah, so definitely with our recovery care, Kim Taylor is our new recovery director, and I so look forward to seeing more men and women come on as recovery leaders to help men and women who are post-abortive, to help men and women who have gone through sexual trauma and any pregnancy loss. So I still look forward to seeing more leaders, but also more men and women find healing through that as well. We are so blessed at Hopeline that we are the largest pregnancy center ministry in the state of Connecticut. And I know that the Lord has positioned us that way to help come alongside other pregnancy centers, not just in Connecticut, but the Lord is just expanding. We've done recovery trainings with people all over. We've even gone international with recovery this year, and that's been amazing too. So I look forward to seeing that continue in the next couple of years.
Thank you so much for sharing all that, Adrian. And I also was just so impressed the way during the pandemic that the centers responded, and with things like drive-by, pregnancy tests. I mean, it sounds comical, like how do you do that? But you all made it work. The ministries were never shut down. So I just want to commend you and thank you for that. Is there anything you want to add in that regard about the pandemic?
Yeah, I would just say that our staff is amazing. And honestly, we could not have achieved what we did without them. We hired our Danbury Center Director, Alta. Basically, the day we went on quarantine was her first day. And I also had COVID right at the beginning. So she was in the centers, in the thick of it, while I had COVID and I couldn't train her. And so our staff is just amazing. We are blessed to have the dedicated, committed staff that we do, for sure.
Well, you and Linda have built an amazing team there, and Jess and I and the rest of the board are so just proud of you both and your dedication and the impact that Hopeline has made and will continue to make. And so we just obviously we're looking for asking for people to make a monthly commitment to this ministry. I'm thinking back to when my wife and I started our monthly donations. It had to be at least 10 years ago, and it was just a few dollars. It was what we could afford at the time. But as the Lord has blessed us, and as we've just even grown in our faith and just seen the incredible work of Hopeline, and for me, I have the benefit of seeing it from the inside and seeing the faith, the prayer, the passion, the care that is Hopeline. I am so confident that that monthly donation is an investment in the kingdom of God. It's investing in something that whether the stock market goes up or down, eternal value, eternal worth. And so if you're interested if you've watched this and you're feeling inclined to make a donation one time or ongoing, which really we are really praying for just a whole bunch of people to give monthly, you can go to hopelineprc.org and you'll just follow the instructions there on how to give. You won't regret it. And it's one of those things you'll look back on, I believe, in eternity and say, that was a good investment. So Linda, thank you for your time and your service, and you're still with us, a few more months. So we're not saying goodbye yet. And Adrian, thanks for your dedication and hard work. And Jess, you're an amazing teammate and a wonderful fellow board member. And your story is just absolutely compelling. And your work ethic, even as a volunteer, but just as part of the Hopeline team, has just been such a blessing. Thanks, and God bless all of you.